Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Something Something podcast. My name is Eric Kasloff, and with me, as always, is Larry Sands. Party on, Larry.
Party on, Eric. Party on, dude.
Okay, so we
How you doing?
doing good, man. For those of you who have been listening to the show for a while, me and Larry love to make each other laugh. And I wish we were hitting record earlier
I know.
because we got into this big, deep conversation about Don
Oh,
Johnson.
wait. It was very deep. We got into we started talking about Don Johnson, and then all of a sudden it became about David Hasselhoff. We got into David Hasselhoff, and then we were just about ready to get into talking like music because should I just go ahead and introduce our guest? No, not yet. Okay. So
Yeah.
anyway, we were talking about Don Johnson, and we were reminiscing about
And
Miami
the
Vice.
filmography of Philip Thomas Michael.
Right. And he was Tubbs, right?
Yeah,
So we started
Tubbs.
talking about that, and then we were making a joke at because because I'm kind of behind in like everything, and I was like, man, I just watched this new movie or the new TV show called Miami Vice, and I think the guy who plays Tubbs is gonna blow up. So we were kind of joking about that.
But then we got to David Hasselhoff and his music career, and you've never seen his music video for "Hooked on a Feeling." You know
No.
what? After the show, we'll do a reaction to you watching it, and we'll put that up as a special video. All right?
Okay, that would be good. That would be good.
Now,
that'd be hilarious.
One thing,
but I tell you, but now, Eric, I do have to say to finish up our conversation, because you had asked me what was better, singing career wise, Don Johnson or David Hasselhoff. And I have to say David Hasselhoff because really he was a genius when it came to his music. And this is all joking aside, because he went to Germany and he blew up.
Yeah,
he blew up, and Germany is probably the reason he got to do Baywatch.
You know what?
Really?
I wouldn't doubt that at all.
In a strange, odd way. Because obviously, oh wait, David Hasselhoff, he's making a lot of money in Germany. So let's put him on the beach with Pamela Anderson. So, I think it works. But not only that, and because you were asking me, oh, what about like acting career? Was it Don Johnson or David Hasselhoff? I went with Don Johnson, but David Hasselhoff is a very, very close second. He's like a 1.5 only because he was in the SpongeBob movie. I had to complete that what we were talking about. So yeah. But Don Johnson's a man. He was the handsome man, I tell you. So anyway, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
Me and you, apart from the movie stuff, even though you only pretend to like movies, you do actually like music, and both of us are really into like rock. That's your favorite genre also?
Oh yeah, but I grew up, no joke, listening to Guns N' Roses, and they were, like Axl Rose was like my main influence, and he was the reason I started getting into music, and I had started doing being in bands and stuff.
You've been in like
and so
2, right?
Oh man. Well, maybe that you know of, because
I
got into
it. Delta 9.
Yeah, Delta 9. And we were doing good, man. But I tell you, it's hard. It's hard being in a band, because if you think acting or filmmaking is hard, it's even harder being a band, because you're not just relying on yourself, you're relying on 4 or 5 others. So it's super difficult, and it just, man, and everybody's got to be up for the task. If somebody's not pulling their weight, it's rough. But yeah, but man, Guns N' Roses, Poison. Not too long ago, I went to go see Bret Michaels and as a matter of fact, he was with Tom Kiefer from Cinderella.
Oh.
They did a show together, so it was pretty cool. So anyway, yeah.
You know who doing great music isn't hard for? Our guest, Larry. And why don't you introduce him?
That's a pretty good segue, man. That was good. So everybody listening on the World Wide Web and on YouTube and maybe Facebook. So I'd like to introduce our guest for this evening. Her name is Rayko. Hello, Rayko.
Hi, Rayko.
Hi guys, how are you?
Doing great.
Good.
Thanks
How
for
are
coming on
you?
the show.
Doing fabulous. Are you guys in Los Angeles?
I'm in New Jersey. Larry's in
New
Texas.
Jersey. Oh my gosh, all over the place. Okay, so
Yes.
Los Angeles has been suffering some heat waves, and of course California, all the wildfires and arsonists
Yep.
and all that stuff. Today is maybe the first cooler day within the past maybe 2-3 weeks. So usually like people said, oh, good for you. You know, you finally got a break from the heat wave or whatnot. But I happen to love humidity and hot weather.
Really?
So, yeah. So I'm kind of bummed today, but I'm doing well.
Oh,
Oh
hate
my
the hot
gosh.
weather. That was the main thing
Oh.
I hated about Los Angeles. Here in Jersey, it's been raining for about 3 days now. This is funny, guys. It got so bad. There's this car dealership on the highway, and it rained so bad, 4 of the cars slid away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. Now I do. Oh,
Wow.
go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. It's
That is
kind of
horrible.
crazy. Yeah. And it's funny because I was in California, gosh, last week and just came to Texas. And it has been super hot and it's been a little humid and then we come to Texas and it's like, oh man, it's like, I don't know.
Dry.
It's either here or Florida that's really bad. Louisiana, I
wow.
don't know. It's really bad. You'd love it here. If you love heat and humidity.
So
I
why
have
don't you tell our
actually we have
listeners a little bit more about yourself?
I am the lead singer, composer, multi-instrumentalist at symphonic rock band called Lolita Dark. And I not only lead a band and compose for the band, I actually write music for other artists and TV shows and stuff like that for a living. And I have been playing music since, gosh, 4 or 5 years old. I am no good for anything else except music.
Now let's talk about it's cool that you say you started really, really young.
Yeah.
And how, so obviously when you start young, and it becomes like this thing that you actually want to get into to follow as a career. And so tell us what it was like when you were a kid, and did you have thoughts and aspirations and dreams to where you are now? And I know I'm kind of jumping ahead because this is almost like an ending or wrap up of the interview question, but it's always, I love jumping right into things. And I think because I heard your music and by the way, all your links are going to be in the description. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm kind of blown away because I know how hard it is. Huh?
Yeah. Was it so sweet? Like I just love since I am, I live and breathe artist, musician. So when I hear that, it just brightens up my day.
Oh, well, cool. Well, I'm glad. And actually it should, because I mean, you really are. Anybody listening to this right now, just visit their website and check them out as you're listening to this. And as soon as we end this podcast, you gotta now, and see, here's the thing. I'm jumping ahead again. Can people follow you, and all your social media links will be up? But do you have like
Yeah.
an email or newsletter on the website?
There is an email sign up, and also I try to put all my compositions, almost all my compositions, on SoundCloud page. So like if and it's free to listen to it. So if anybody wants to just listen to our music, it's going to be up on SoundCloud. And
Cool.
you guys
All
can,
Cool.
those
yeah,
links
I
will
think
be in the
you guys have all the
description.
information.
Perfect. Now,
Yeah.
let's talk about how you envisioned your life when you were younger.
Mm-hmm.
And where did you grow up, by the way?
Tokyo, Japan.
Whoa.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Have you guys been there?
Wow.
I
No.
really want to go because I am really into wrestling, and New Japan Wrestling is there, and I'm an anime addict. So I keep forgetting the name of the area that has all the video game and anime stuff. Oh man, it's
Oh
gonna
my
bother
gosh.
me.
Well, there's like Akihabara, which is
That's
the
it. That's the
electronic
one.
city. Yeah. And it's so weird because wrestling is so huge in Japan. And I was just talking to one of our friends. I call all my fans friends because I'm very personable. And I was just like, after the show last Saturday, we went out, like big group of people went out to eat, and then this one guy was telling us about he loves Japanese wrestling, and then he was showing me all the pictures of the wrestlers, all the good old dressing, fancy wrestling clothing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I totally remember these things. But
That's
speaking
cool.
of talking about the ending and knowing the ending, and speaking of the ending and get to the ending first, I am totally with you. Like I would have to find out the ending of the movies before I watch certain movies because if it's like devastating, I can't watch it. But I need to know the ending, what happens, so I can relax, even though I'm like on the edge. I am just freaking out, but I know what's gonna happen in the end, so I can watch those, like sit through those movies. So I will go right to the ending of this interview. I started as a having a very progressive female Japanese piano teacher who one time when I threw tantrums saying that, you're horrible, I hate you, I never want you to come back again, I hate this, I hate piano, blah, blah, blah. Instead of her leaving, she had this brilliant idea of telling me, okay, so we're going to take all the sheet music and we're going to go to your backyard. We're going to have a big bonfire. We're going to burn this whole text and everything. So you never have to read it. You never have to play the sheet music, written music. So I said, oh my gosh, she became my favorite teacher, favorite friend. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. As a 4 or 5-year-old, I went into the backyard, did that, came back, and I was about to say goodbye forever. She said, okay, so we're going to play a game. And I said, game, okay. And she sat down on the piano. I'm like, I thought that we were going to say goodbye to the piano. And she said, no. And what she said was, she believed in my ears. She said, I believe in your ears, I believe in your senses, and I believe in your emotions. So for about a week or two, we're going to do this game where I'm going to play, she's going to play a bunch of chords, and I'm going to memorize it. And 2 weeks or so later, she told me to come to the piano, sat me down, and this is exactly what she says. She says, okay, I want you to play your mother. And I said, play my mother? She goes, yes, whatever comes to your mind and everything that you heard, it's in your heart, it's in your ears, it's in your brain. I want you to use this chords, and whatever the melody that comes through your emotions, I want you to play it. And I want you to play about your mother. Just think about your mother, close your eyes. So I did. And so my first composition ever was about my mother,
Wow.
my beloved mother. my best friend, and ever since then, I we literally had no problem composing. She would say, "Compose. Look out the window, see the maple trees. I want you to play the maple trees. I want you to play your classmate. I want you to play your teacher. I want you to play the, what you felt about the outfit that you are wearing today." And I owe everything to her.
Wow. How old were you?
About five, like barely 5 years old.
Wow.
Wow. And that, okay, so like Jinx, Eric, you owe me a soda. So anyway, that is absolutely amazing. And now look at it, and I'm kind of at a loss for words because that is absolutely, that's amazing and astonishing. And look at what she's done for you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
So when you
Yeah.
mentioned, putting emotion and visual things to music, it again reminded me of something. Are you familiar with Andrew Lloyd Webber, the Broadway composer?
So Jesus Christ Superstar.
And a few other things, yeah. But he said
Yeah.
once, if someone asked him to write a love song, he couldn't do it. But if
Me
someone
too.
asked him to write a love song about a girl who moves from
Uh-huh.
her small town to a big city and meets
Hmm.
someone, then he could do it. So it
Oh,
sounds
I
like
can
your
relate.
music teacher was helping you put a story to the sounds you were
Mm.
making and visuals in your mind.
Yeah,
And it's
most
so
Wow.
definitely.
personal when you do that.
Yes, most definitely.
Let me ask you real quick because listening to your music, and
Yeah.
by the way, did I say I love it? But anyway, um, uh, listening to your music, it does have a certain, um, it is weird in a way, and maybe when people listen to your music after this podcast, but it's
Hmm.
weird in a way because it's almost like a person in a way. It has
Oh.
this form. And when I was listening to it, I was like, man, this, first of all, it's different. And you don't hear that stuff every now because everything is
Right.
so like, I don't know, it's weird.
Auto-tuned.
I mean, it's good. It is auto tune, yeah. But it's so raw and powerful, right?
Yeah.
It's like that onion. It's like that onion peeled back and it's so raw and it's like that little bitty onion right inside, and that's you guys. How do you guys write? Do you guys get together and write your music? Because I know right before we were recording, you
Hmm.
had mentioned, but talk us through the process of how you guys write together or separate, or how does that happen?
Okay. Great question. So, I never have ever sat down and wrote a song in my life. As long as I can remember. My music usually comes to me when I am sleeping and I get woken up by it. And I would run to my phone and I would just sing to my phone. And when I wake up, I start recording on my either Logical Pro Tools. Rain, Lolita Dark, he is my amazing engineer. He does everything for my record because I create, but I am really, really bad with gear. Like I don't, I can't really operate too much of those like, recording programs like Logic and Pro Tools. So I do my phone thing and then I start, playing guitar parts or piano parts or whatnot. And I'll bring it to Rain. Okay, this is a composition that I came up with. And I write about, I don't know, at least 2, 3 songs a month. And
Wow.
I'll go to him and then just we start recording. And then, so like lyrics, words are the only piece in the part of the music that I sit down and write. But as I said, the music part of it, I dream of all the sceneries, melodies, drum parts, bass parts, guitar parts, melody, top line melody, everything in my dream or when I'm driving, when I'm shopping, or when I'm on the phone with somebody. Like one time I wrote this song called Avatar, which is a sing along song. Like all my fans sing along with it every time we do a show. But this song I wrote while I was talking on the phone with one of my the bookers for an event, and him and I became close. And then he was telling me about his personal stuff, and then he told me that his girlfriend left him for an avatar, an actual avatar. And he was telling me, like, he was really sad. He was telling me all this stuff, and then while he was telling me, I finished writing this one song during the course of our conversation, like in like I don't know 20 minutes.
Wow.
And so yeah, it's the song. Yeah, I never like sit down and write a song, and then after that, I would just give it to my guitar player. We have, we play with like a lot of like string sections and horn sections too. I write their parts for them, but for my core band, for the guitar player, drummer, and bass player, I'll give them the song, and then they add their creative inputs to it.
Huh. Wow.
That's very cool. So, and see, again, this is absolutely amazing because I mean, you just don't, this is not something you do. This is something that you dream about.
Yeah, I think that the training my piano teacher kind of, naturally gave me just carries it's with me even today.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
Yep.
yeah, think and feel, and people call me emotional conduit. So like I feel it so much that it just becomes music.
Yeah, that I believe it. I believe it. What would you say? Because I was talking to Eric actually before we started, before you actually joined us. But I think, and for everybody listening, this kind of like goes back to the old school '80s. So, but I think you guys have a little bit of Iron Maiden and Donkin, and some even, dare I say, No Doubt in your music. Yeah.
Wow.
So it jumps out at you, and it's really in your face. And but what would what do you guys have you? I know this is hard, but is there something that you've heard time and time again that you guys sound like a particular band or sound like, so what's the most that you've gotten?
Typically because it's a female fronted band, we hear like Within Temptation, Evanescence, No Doubt.
Yes.
No Doubt.
Yes.
You're not ska whatsoever. You're not ska
No,
whatsoever.
no, and see that's the thing. You're not ska at all. But I think the way that your voice is and the way it carries, and in some cool odd way, it's reminiscent. But even Evanescence, I'm glad you brought that up because I was listening. I was like, whoa, that's like pretty heavy and pretty good. So yeah, that's cool. That's very cool.
And then for male, maybe because we do a lot of symphonic stuff. For we also hear Muse. We hear, because of my screaming and everything, we hear Rage. It's like so much. Like even like on our SoundCloud page, I mix up with the Lolita Dark songs, Big Jelly song, and the songs that I write for TVs and other artists. So like people say that I write anywhere from Ava to Zappa. I don't know what it means. Because there's so many diversity. So it's just like hard to pinpoint, but I do hear a lot of Evanescence and music Evanescence or something like that.
That's cool. That's cool.
Who are your biggest influences in music when you were younger?
It's so funny. I loved even like TLC.
Okay. Oh, really? Nice.
It's like seriously. And then
That's cool.
I think one of my first concerts were like Paula Abdul.
Really?
And then but I have a older sister who like this is where like the rock and everything comes. I have my I have an older sister who is like a musical encyclopedia. She literally listened from Abba to Zappa, and she introduced me to older rock bands like what is it, Kiss and
Oh
David
yeah.
Bowie,
Yes.
those legendary
Yeah.
people like Queen.
Oh yeah.
I love Queen. I love Freddie Mercury. I mean, he's something else. His voice is
Yes.
just
I'm
amazing.
really
And
excited about the movie coming out this year.
Oh, that's gonna be a great movie.
yes, I am definitely gonna go. I'm definitely gonna
Right.
watch that.
Well,
Yeah,
I know that
definitely.
your
Definitely.
first concert was Paula Abdul. Mine's is going to shock people. Larry, who was your first concert?
Man, you know what? Let me see. Let me think. Oh, you know what it was? I think my very first one, and my mom took me. It was, dude. It was Motley Crue, and it was a Theater of Pain tour.
Wow.
I
Oh
remember.
my
Yeah,
god!
yeah,
My first
yeah.
Wow!
concert, this is no joke. My very first concert was the
Wait. Let
Teenage
me guess.
Mutant, the
Wait. Was it Blue's Clues?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when they had a
Oh,
rock album
that's
out.
awesome. That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
And then
That's
when I
cool.
That's
was
awesome.
then my
That's
first,
cool.
as a teenager, it was The Offspring.
Oh yes.
Hey,
Oh
that's
my
pretty
god.
cool. Nice.
What do you
Nice.
think
On
is
my
awesome?
grave, it will say, Eric Kasloff, the year I was born, died. First rock concert, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage
That is
Mutant. That's cool.
Hey,
That's
as a
pretty
Japanese
cool.
born, Tokyo born girl, I really appreciate that you went to Ninja Turtles concert as a first concert. That's awesome.
That's
I
cool.
don't know what
That's cool.
I don't know whatever happened to Offspring. Um, such a cool band. I don't hear about them anymore.
I think
I
they're
know.
still doing stuff. It's just because punk, well, that style of punk isn't what it was anymore. I mean,
Right,
emo popped up for a while, and, screamo was a part of that. And
right.
bands like Green Day and Offspring, I guess they just felt, you know what? Our fans are old now and have kids. Let's take a break.
Right. Right. Actually, I listen to you guys talk. I I forget what my next question was. Oh my God, this is crazy. I just had it, but then I lost it. So I don't know. It's. I think it was. How do you approach songwriting? Maybe that was it. How do you approach your songwriting? I know you
Yeah,
said earlier,
I
but
think
how
we're
do you
talking about.
approach it?
I think we're talking about how the music come to me in my dreams and in my
Yeah.
when I'm driving or when I'm on the phone with somebody. I never sit
Hmm.
down and write a song,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
up so that's see I don't know if that is called an approach because it's really genuine, like like how some feeling comes to you guys, like when you see something, like let's say that you go to Hawaii and then you look at the ocean and then you feel something like, oh my
Yeah.
god, this is the most beautiful sunset I've ever seen in my entire life. That emotion comes to me with the background music. Almost that's like the best way to describe how I write music, and it just becomes a complete composition. This is how I write music. And so when I write music, there it comes with the whole full-on orchestral parts, the visuals, and everything. The only thing that can fade away are the words.
That
This is
and I
so much.
think that
Mhm.
is what I'm interested because and I think what and knowing you're talking about your background about how you learn music and I and that is absolutely something like some people you know look out and go, oh gosh, I don't know how to describe it. It's just beautiful. But you, it sounds like you look out in the ocean and you see this whole magnificent, and you hear
Right.
how the beauty of what you're looking at. Or could it
Mhm.
be also, could it also be something that is so heavy and
Mhm.
so, I don't want to say dark, but yeah, those
Oh,
of
that's
us
good
as
too. That's
artists,
good. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and because whether you're a songwriter or a musician, which what you are, and filmmakers is us, not everything is like a a love song, and there are times that we go through like heavy, darker stuff, and it there definitely comes out in our
Yeah.
art, as it were. So, and
Yeah.
I think that's what I was trying to get at is in knowing your process, and you
Mhm.
see and you hear everything.
Mhm.
How do you pick out the words? Do you rush it? Do you let it
No,
come
I
to
don't.
you?
So that's the only thing that I don't rush. So when I see every situation, every sight, and every personal, uh, the happiness and sorrow, I believe it comes with the background music. Just like when you're looking at news or movies, if you strip strip away all the music that comes with every scene, it's just dull. Like it, of course, like the acting could be amazing, but then the music brings out so much to the visuals. And so when I feel that way every time I talk to somebody or see something, and then I feel wow, or oh my god, or oh no, and but then the music, the lyrics cannot be all oh wow, oh no, oh
Yeah.
so uh, so I do write and sit down, and then of course it has to rhyme. Certain lines have to rhyme or some whatever.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
do pay a very careful attention to the words that I write, and then Rain helps me a lot too in the words too, because still I can converse well with you guys, but English is still my second language because I grew up born and raised in Japan. So
Mhm.
I just wanted to make sure that I am, grammatically correct on some sentences, and just wanted to make sure that I'm totally relating the message to the public in correctly. So that kind of stuff. I the words I really have to sit down and pay total attention to it.
Very cool.
Very
Very cool.
interesting.
Because it's always interesting. And let me ask you this. I know because Eric and I have talked about it more
Yeah,
than several times. Because Eric's a writer as well as a talented director and editor.
Thank you.
amazing.
But you're welcome. But you know, do you get stuck in a writer's block?
Have I ever?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I can't say I haven't. There were a time where, speaking of the dark and everything, um, I was severely depressed, and there are so many music that came to my head, but it became like too many ingredients in the blender. It would not
Mm.
mix well with each other. Like like cucumbers would not go good with the chocolate powder, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I would have to really sit down and compartmentalize my thoughts and the writing process. And when that happened, I had to sit back and just take a walk, or just tell myself it's okay if you can't finish writing this song that came to your head. Maybe there's like a bridge missing or something, and then you just couldn't get to it. So I do have writer's block sometimes, most of the time with words.
It's the most
Mm.
painful thing I go through is writer's
Mhm.
block because it physically hurts. Your mind
Yeah.
feels weak. You feel like I feel like I'm a loser when I can't do it. And like I've always said, the things that helps me is, I'll just stop, I'll play a video game, I'll watch
Mm.
some really bad movies to inspire me. Never a good movie. Because if you have writer's block and you listen to like watch a good movie, you're gonna be like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, there's no point. I guess so. Like with music, it would be like if you're in writer's block, don't listen to Sergeant Pepper. Just do not at all go near that. All right.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Well,
Well, you know, actually, I got one more.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
You just go play Zelda, and Zelda will take you to another.
exactly. Well, with me, I'll play like a really easy pick up and play game. My hardcore gaming sessions, I tune out the world. But for writers, I'll play like a Sonic or a wrestling game, just because it's get out all my emotions right then.
Oh my gosh! Yes, very important. Very important in our lives.
Like the new Sonic game has been my salvation many a frustrating nights.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. One more question, because I know, Eric, you're chomping at the bit. But how many, you know, again, to go back, because you kind of hit on, and, you know, one of the good things about this podcast is, you know, whatever, I know, I speak for myself because I'm going through a lot of stuff, and I hear almost every artist, because that's what you guys are, whether you're a musician or an author, you know, is I hear, you know, that, and first of all, you guys inspire me to just keep doing what I'm doing and keep pushing. But how many times, because I think, and I realize this, but in my own way, in view of things, if I can just get it out, what I'm trying to say. But through the dark times and the hurt, how much good has come out of that? Or has there come out of, and I mean songs, or has anything creatively beautiful come out of your darker times?
Oh, that's the only thing. May I start? And I would try not to talk for hours about this. I am a straight edge. Music is my fix. She or he. Music is the only thing that I believe that would never left me, will never leave me. I have faith in music, and I would trust music will stay with me. And so when the darkest time or my stressful time, when I feel trapped, that's the word that I use a lot. You know, there's a time where I feel so trapped and suffocated. I just go, you know, play piano for hours, or just sit there, and then just music will just come to my head, like, you know, kind of like Eminem does the you know, just like free flow, like a free flow of music, and I sing, write, play for hours, and it really is the best miraculous therapy in the entire world for me. And so every time I write, I feel, if I could do this, because I believe music is my calling, if I can do this to every one of my fans or everybody who listens to my music, I feel like I have made it. Even if I didn't have millions of dollars in my bank account, I have made it, because that's, you know, as a musician, you know, we write our own script, and so it's just really you know, and then people like you guys create the bridge between us and the world. So, you know, we couldn't do it without you guys, and so like that is really my answers to your question. It does a miracle.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Thank you. Thank you for being so honest.
That was kind of like a mic drop, to be honest. You know, we could have
Right.
go on
We
that.
should just end it now. Right.
But well, one thing about our show, as you can tell, we are not serious guys at all. We would rather laugh about
Thank God.
things than get really in depth. But since all of us are in the entertainment industry, we know that it is a dark, sick, twisted place. And misogyny really runs through it a lot because a lot of time good guys are afraid to speak up for the women in our lives who are involved in the entertainment industry. And my hat goes off to all the women out there who have been brave enough to stand up to this evil and this, yeah, that's the best word, evil, that is affecting the world right now.
Mhm.
And there have been so many, the Me Too movement is an amazing thing. And, I'll admit it, I had a big crush on Lindsay Lohan, but after her whole statement, and the apology stuff she's doing now, my respect for her is gone. And
Oh,
we're gonna get into your song soon, and it
mm.
was an amazing song because
Oh,
you
thank you.
catch people off guard with it. Well, let's just talk
Right.
about it right now. I wanted to talk about some other stuff, but we'll get into that later. Your song, Gender Genocide, that's really
Yes.
hard to say, is such an
If I can
amazing.
say it, you can.
What I like so much about it is you catch people off guard because it is such a poppy, friendly song. But then
Hmm.
when you start listening to the lyrics, it's like,
Right.
holy crap. The visuals in the music video, if you would have come out with like a metal song about it, it would have been like, wow, that's way too angry for a lot of people. But what
Right.
you did with that song was so brilliant. I'm gonna let Larry talk a little bit because I'm overdoing it.
Well, thank
No, I
you.
know.
Thank you for overdoing it. I love it.
Actually, I think Eric is absolutely right because it starts off and you're like, okay, this is kind of cool, and then you bust in with the lyrics, and then it's like, whoa, it's
Right.
like, and that is definitely, it's almost like, how it's oh gosh, I Little Red Riding Hood comes to mind because it's like, oh look, there's the grandma's house, and oh look, I'm gonna go knock on the door, and oh look, I'm gonna open, and all of a sudden it's like, it comes at you in a good way. Um,
Well,
you know,
I love contrast, and I really thank you guys so much for that. And then I really thank my co-writers on this, the gender genocide lyrics. I was talking to my collaborator Frank Kilpatrick. He, one day we were talking about the Weinstein thing, and he's like, for some reason, he has a way of like opening me up, and I was telling him about my long stories, being a Asian female coming to America at a very young age and experiencing very very similar scenario
mm,
of what everybody started talking about finally. And I really really appreciate you guys for paying attention to this topic, and then not only for women but all the voiceless, that the little kid boy actors, and the actors who are thriving to make it, coming out from I don't know, like not nowhere near Hollywood, and then maybe they got brainwashed and thinking into this is how Hollywood works, and you just have
yeah,
to take it and literally, and then do it. Um, so I was talking to him about it, and then he was taking notes, and then we wrote the lyrics, and then I want to thank him for that. And then again, Rain helped a lot about with the lyrics and especially like the rap part. So I don't want to take all the credit for the words at all. Music, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took like my life, the stories of trying to make it in this business. Like the words came out really really nicely, relatable too with the public, and then I just maybe there's a reason why um I'm I'm where I'm at now. I never wanted to wake up in the morning and look at myself in the mirror and say, "Hey, this is how I made it,"
Mm.
because
Yeah.
I did this and I did that, because I didn't want to taint something that's so spiritual to me, which is music.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
countless opportunities, yes, but oh my God, no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's the thing.
go on.
Like with is particular, obviously acting, the Weinstein thing, but I must say this
Yes.
is not something that is like new.
No, not
Not
at
at
It's
all.
all.
been
Yeah.
like when I was like heavy into acting, I
Yeah.
mean, it was I didn't experience it personally, but
Hmm.
I mean, there were stories out there and like parties going on all the time and all these big moguls and all these guys,
Right.
in particular it was guys for the
Right.
for the longest time.
Right.
And I mean, look at Corey Haim, Corey
Yes.
Feldman, you
Yes.
know, and it's unfortunate because I think, and this is like really heavy, and obviously this is my opinion, but they really messed up Corey Haim,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
because nobody would believe him, and I think this is, people get into things because certain things happen to them, and I think that Corey Haim went down that road because nobody would listen to him, and
Right.
he was told. People are told, just like your song, hey, you better not say anything.
Yeah.
This is the way it's going to be. You'll never work again.
Right.
And so the lyrics like really run deep, and I'm listening to, I'm like, yep, it's true. It's all true, you know. And let me
Yep.
ask you about your co-writer. So
Yes.
was he like really stoked and excited about doing this with you and going down this avenue
Oh yes.
with you? Okay, cool. And I can almost picture it because because again, as artists,
Mhm.
we write and we sing and we do what we see out
Mhm.
in in what's put in front of us, and this whole movement was there and it's been
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
And I think with your song,
Mhm.
and I know, this is, I mean, it's like the song of songs. You put it, it's not, it's got pretty melodies and, all that stuff, but then you come
Mhm.
out and you hit it hard,
Right.
and you don't pull any punches. You don't mince words, and this is the way it is, and
Mhm.
fuck you because you're fucking with me. Here we go.
Right.
Let's do it.
Right.
Let's get
Right.
down to it.
Yeah.
And 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 the way that you hit your rap like in there
Yeah.
too. I
Yeah, I
mean,
was
it's
gonna
just
mention that.
everything. Yeah,
Right.
and it's just it's I have to commend you because you're not beating people over the head, but you're
Mhm.
coming at them full steam, running through. You're not going around the mountain. You're busting through the mountain with what you
Mhm.
want to say, and then you
Right.
just kind of leave it at that, and it speaks volumes. I guess
What's
I'm that
Yeah.
type of person.
what's been the response for the song, amongst people in the movement?
You know, like you guys are saying, it's been, oh my gosh, forever. This. I believe this is a timeless issue.
Hmm.
Kind of like that classical music. It's like any time you can hear this and people can relate, because not only the music business, it happens at every workplace.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Everybody,
It happens
you
at
Yep.
know,
Hollywood studios, it happens at McDonald's, it happens at
Yeah,
anywhere you can think.
exactly, exactly. So I just wanted to. I've always been a big advocate for, first of all, because it's a side note, I'm from a broken home. I've always been a girl's girl. I've always been supportive, people, especially coming from Japan. I just wanted, I don't know what equality really is, but I just wanted everybody to just like to respect and be respected, no matter who you are. And so when I write stuff like this, it's really personal. And so I just wanted to just be as genuine and honest as I could. That was redundant, but I could for when I composed this, and when I'm co-writing just words, I some words I thought it was too much and I took it out. Some words I thought it was too tame and I maybe spiced it up, and just wanted to be, because like I said, yeah, it's just like you said, McDonald's, Hollywood, it's everywhere. So I just wanted everybody to be everybody's theme song, all the voiceless theme song to all the voiceless.
I think you got it. I really do. And I don't mean that to be, I think you hit it right on the head.
Thank you.
And this isn't
what was it?
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You've done other songs like this. I can't remember the name of it, but I think I read you did a song about white guys' obsession with Asian women or something like that.
Oh, that actually, I didn't write that one. I was the a singer that was chosen singer for that song. It's called Yellow Fever, isn't it?
Okay, yeah.
Yes, I know. It's so funny. Like I heard that a lot of that was written by Frank Kilpatrick, my collaborator.
Wow.
That's how we met originally. And he said he went through like all the people and like the Asian girls. It was just like not everybody was cool about that song. And like that's another thing. People are too quick to judge. Now,
Thank you.
So when I looked at the title, it says Yellow Fever. So I'm like, oh, Yellow Fever, okay. But then when I when I read the whole thing, it wasn't only about, people who fetish over Asian girls. It was deeper. It was about these stereotypes, non-Asian people who likes to hang out with Asian people too, like, oh, you have Asian fetish or whatever. So it's equal. Speaking of equality, like we are equally doing that. Because some people have fetish. Yeah, there's stereotypes. There's a reason why there are stereotypes, but not everybody is the same or the same. So when I read it at the end, to say, look, we were doing that too. You just genuinely like me. I happen to be Asian, but you like me for me, not because of the color of my skin. That's how I met her.
Right.
Doing that song.
That's cool.
Was that song a response to that, I'll say it, really offensive song by Day Above Ground?
Wait, one more time?
There was that band Day Above Ground who did that really horrible song, Asian Girls. Did he write that as a response to that song?
I don't know. I've never heard of that song myself.
Oh, it's a good thing you haven't. It is super, super offensive. And
really,
yeah.
No, I got to hear this.
I'll email it to you, but it's like it mentions we love your slanted eyes, and it just gets really nasty.
Oh my God.
Hey
it's
guys,
so funny. Like I get emails or comments on my website about like people who maybe don't like Asian people. So yeah, I believe kindness is always the winner. So I always have the response the perfect response to mean people, I should say, is one time, speaking of Gwen Stefani, after our House of Blues show, I believe that I got a nasty comment on my website. It just had a one line. It says, "We already have Gwen. Go home."
What?
So, so I replied saying, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to comment on our website. That really means a lot to me because, it's time and energy this guy is spending, or girl. And I said, to be compared to somebody who is enormous in my life means so much. I have nothing but appreciation. Thank you.
Wow.
Nice.
That is how you respond to a troll.
Yes.
Nice.
Because
Nice.
if you think about it takes way more energy to write a negative comment than it does to write something positive.
Yes. I had a friend. They used to have Howard Stern radio as his alarm clock before it went to Sirius. So I learned from him a lot. Like, people just, because he got negative comments all the time, and his comeback was always like, sometimes brutal, but like, he said, if you kill people with kindness, it makes them think. Because if you deal anger with anger, then it becomes bloodbath. So, if once I got to that mindset of just, be positive and be kind, I actually, it became a part of me. So I wasn't really kidding about the comment that I replied to. I really felt like, oh wow, somebody's actually comparing me to Gwen Stefani. That's awesome.
That's a great compliment.
And I thought, I'm not going to say who it was, but I found out later on it was the lead singer of the band that we played with that night. So.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. I did. Okay, I have a comment, and then I have a quick question before we wrap up. So my comment is, for everybody that is so sensitive and so wanting to love everybody and to be just so loving, and everybody doesn't see differences and they all want to be one. Everybody sure is mean on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. I tell you, it's asinine. People are just a bunch of asinine people, and I'm with you.
It's usually people that want to show how good and kind they are by attacking someone for saying something.
Exactly. And
it's like, how I'm gonna start a bad Star Wars movie, Ryan Johnson, even though I love The Last Jedi, or how dare you have a different political opinion than me, you idiot.
Right. And I don't know, it just bothers me. Everybody wants to, anyway, but I do have to go back to gender genocide. What was it like the first time you heard it, when it was done and it was produced? Did you have a feeling, or did you not have a feeling? What was that if you had a feeling, what was it like listening to it?
I felt, like I said, oh my gosh, finally I was able to put together a theme song for All the Voiceless, and it was well done. I really felt it was delivered well. And you guys are writers, and then you guys do this, the podcast, and after you listen to certain ones, you have one, like the ones that you favor, and the other one you go meh about it. And this one definitely I felt there is that I succeeded.
Cool. Very cool. And by the way, I never listen to our podcast because I don't like the way I talk or sound. So
I've only listened to one episode, Larry.
Have you?
Yeah.
You guys should jump on this. I love your voices. You guys definitely have great voices. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's like,
Thank you. Well, I just
wait, here's a little
go ahead.
this is what I never even watch my own short films.
Oh,
Really?
I will watch
Yeah.
it.
Well, because I
Oh
edit
yeah.
them, I've seen them so much.
Oh
It's like I
yeah.
hate them.
Oh my God.
Right,
Please
right,
send me,
right.
please send me your short films. I love short films.
Oh yeah, I'll send you some stuff as soon as we're done talking. I'll email and that
Ooh.
really horrible offensive music video.
Oh,
And
okay.
also, actually, while we're talking, I know you have all your stuff on Amazon and SoundCloud and all that good stuff. But if
Yes.
you want to see a movie that I produced and I was in and I edited,
Uh-huh.
it's on Amazon Prime if you have Amazon Prime. It's called
I do.
Adjusting Honor.
I do.
Ooh,
It-
oh
my
yeah,
God, which-
yeah. Check it out.
I will
it,
definitely.
yes, yes. It's called Adjusting Honor, and you can just search Larry Sands.
Okay, I will definitely.
But yeah,
I got Amazon Prime because I licensed 2 of my songs to one of the Amazon Prime shows called The Man in the High Castle.
that's what I was reading about. That's really great. I do
have Amazon Prime.
We have talked, and I tell you, I've had so much fun, and it's like this is like we've only had one part 2 of a show, 2-episode show, but I've had so much fun and talking to you, and you have been so absolutely amazing that we need to probably have you back and talk to you
please.
actually about stuff that where your music is on these TV shows and being a songwriter for other people. I mean, it's a crazy, crazy world, and you are absolutely the center of the universe because you're so busy, and I love it. I love it. You are an inspiring. First of all, you are an inspiring gal, and you're so I've only met you, but I mean, you're such a beautiful person, and I can just feel like your vibe, and it's really great, and I just thank you for being a part of our show, and I for one would love to have you back very, very, extremely, very soon. Yes.
And
Thank you so much.
I want to echo everything Larry's saying, but go, what do you mean part 2, Larry? We don't stop the episode in the middle to put stuff together, then edit stuff. Everything flows naturally.
Oh, wait, no, you are correct, sir. Oh, wait, this is my favorite thing. You are correct, sir. Ha, 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 ha. Because Ed McMahon, never mind.
We had this joke one episode how someone, before we close up, I was telling someone about the show, and they looked at me and said, "Which one of you is Ed McMahon?" Like, Johnny Carson's sidekick. Well, everyone, this was an amazing episode. All the links to all of our guest music will be in the description below. And I'm telling you now, you will be hooked the second you listen to the music. It was a fantastic episode. Whenever you're listening to this, have a happy and safe week or weekend.